Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q, here for another big day of, who knows what we're going to talk about today. You never know. You never know what I'm going to be talking about. You know it's going to be current, whatever it is, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it, whether you like it or not. Now, that's the way we go here. That's the way we go here at 4680Q and on Your City, Your Voice. Remember, these are just my opinions. They're not necessarily the opinions of 4680Q or any of the other fine hosts, show hosts on this station. Of course, I'm one of the very few conservative hosts here. Most people have TDS and everything else. So, I do the opposite. So you're going to get a conservative point of view no matter what. That's it. That's all I have to say before we start the show here on this beautiful Trash Talking Tuesday. And the weather is cooperating. It's 60 degrees out there right now. But when I started out this morning at 5 o'clock, it was 52.9 degrees. So it's gone up a little bit. I think it's going to go up more today. It's a beautiful day out there. 53% humidity, nice, and 29.15 on the barometer, up 3 from, actually up 0.03 from yesterday or whatever. It's 0.2. I mean, it's not going far. It's hanging tough, the barometer. We're not in a low pressure. We're not in a really high pressure. We're kind of in between, but it does look like it might rain today. So there you go. You got that. Let's see what happens when it comes down to it by the end of the day. We know one thing. We look outside, we see this weather, and you say, hey, spring is on the way. And you know what that means? That means it's time to get your car into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, get it checked out, get those winter tires off, get the oil changed, get it ready for spring and summer. Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's always has a special going on. You take your car in there, he's going to go through it top to bottom, front to back, and make sure it's running tip top, fix any problems before they become breakdowns. And that's what's important. This is the time of year. You have the undercarriage looked at, you have your suspension system looked at, you have your brakes. You do a brake, what do you call that? Revitalization, where they go in there and they clean everything up to make sure that everything's working. Your calipers aren't seized. This is the time of year you do that spring checkup. Ken Hunter will take a look at it and he'll let you know what you need. Wild Bill's Auto and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership, a full body shop. You get in a wreck, he'll fix your car, send it back to you in showroom condition. Give him a call today, wildbillsauto.ca. And while you're at wildbillsauto.ca, checking out the great services that they provide over there, don't forget to go to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973, and you will find all my videos. You can also search Your City, Your Voice, or Absolutely, the other show I do on Wednesdays, and you'll come upon my videos. You can go back in the archives and look. There's a couple of years in there now, and if you need any information on what's going on or what's happened before, it'll be there. So check it out, and don't forget to subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe, absolutely nothing. You get a notification when I drop a show, usually by 3 in the afternoon. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments. I love comments. We have a few viewers' comments for this show, and we're good to go. Let's get involved because we have an election coming up. We have budgets being handed down. They've already been handed down. Now we're going to see how they're blowing our money. We have the regional amalgamation coming up, a big topic. Al McKay will be on the show on Friday to address that issue. So, yeah, we have a lot of good stuff coming up, and you want to get involved. You want to be aware. You want to be informed. Well, this is the place to come. And you're going to get as straight as I can give it to you. Don't pull any punches here. Call a spade a spade. Okay, our other sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. We'll talk about that on the half hour. Yeah, we'll get to them on the half hour. So viewer comments. So we had one comment we had two comments actually at Iceman69 Where's our $25,000 ping pong table? Hey, John, that's a great question. I haven't seen it. I was at the Gale Center, a few months ago for a meeting about the meteor crater, which, by the way, there's a couple of barriers there. There's some stuff a little bit going on. They said they were going to start in March, so we're waiting for the excavation equipment to get in there. I can't wait till they start digging that crap out of there, and we'll see what they pull out, because when they started digging a little bit a while ago, there's some oily smells coming out of that. It stunk. So I'm just wondering if when they start digging it again, there's going to be that same problem. We'll see. Time will tell. We're almost there. They're going to start digging, and when they do, I think they're going to find some nastyville under there. But anyway, I digress. Back to the question of our $25,000 ping pong table. I was at that meeting. I never saw the ping pong table. Where is it? It's supposed to appear last summer at the Gale Center. I got to go drive by. I'm going to drive by and check it out and see if they have the outdoor $25,000 concrete ping pong table running. And where's our checkerboards? Our $5,000 checkerboards, outdoor checkerboards, and chess sets. Oh man, these guys blow money like crazy, and they whine and cry about Jody Burdett. They're dandies. But anyway, I got to go check it out. If it's not there, then I have to ask, where's our money? Where's the 25 grand? What did they blow it on? John, I don't know. We have to find out. Doge. That's why I got my Doge shirt on. Department of Government Efficiency. We definitely have to be looking into that money. Another one was from Dave Wheeler, 1158. Kaiser is a derivative of Tsar. So Dave's giving me a history lesson here, because yesterday I said, if a Kaiser is a Kaiser, what do they call a female Kaiser? I didn't know. Well, he says it's a derivative of Tsar, so she can be Tsarzina. And we're talking about only 8. That's right. Heidi von Neuesteg, the right-hand henchman to Fritz von Cario. Now we can call her Kaiserina, because that's the word to use with Kaiser. Kaiserina. I looked it up. It's Kaiserina. So yeah, I got it now. So now when I talk about it, I can call her Kaiserina or Tsarina, one or the other, depending on if it's a Prussian or German or whatever the heck. And he also said, by the way, the U.S. troops that were serving with the Kurds thought Trump betrayed the Kurds. That's what they thought. That's their perspective. Well, Trump said it was necessary to end involvement in foreign conflicts. This was during his first term, by the way. So we have one perspective from what Dave says, the troops thought he betrayed the Kurds. We had another perspective from Trump himself, saying that he wanted to end the involvement in foreign wars. That's why he pulled out, and it was a big conflict. I think it was in Syria with Turkey or something. Either way, two perspectives, but thanks, Dave, for the comment. I really appreciate it. And we'll use Kaiserina. If we're talking about SARS, Tsarina, and it's a better perspective regarding the Kurds. Okay, there are viewer comments. If you have a comment, just go to the video and leave a comment. I always talk about comments on the show. I love the comments. I love our listeners and our viewers on the video, listeners on 4680q.com live at noon. So much to do. And of course, if you want to leave a comment live while I'm doing the show, well, I've always got this right here, this little puppy, where you can text me at 289-994-7560. That's 289-994-7560. And it'll pop up on this. And when it pops up on this, I get to see it and I get to read it out live on air. So there you go. I mean, it's not like we prohibit anybody from getting involved. We want everybody involved. The more, the better. And I thank those who do comment. Oh, already got a ding. Ooh. Oh. IRGC Basic Leisure finally killed. Yeah, Iran's taking a bad beating. Okay, we'll get to that. Remember those paramedics I talked about yesterday looking to be redesignated as emergency workers and get the same pay as firefighters and police? I talked about that yesterday. Well, they're currently under employ as municipal workers. They want to be considered emergency workers. And now, because of that, they're threatening to strike if they don't get that parity. I didn't think there was any group left to strike. We've had every single union in Canada, from planes and trains and automobiles. Um, they've gone on strike, threatened to go on strike over the last 2 years. It's been crazy, right from the border agents to Parks Commission, the workers, city workers, airplanes, trains, automobile companies, UAW, and all that. But you know what? It never ends. There's always somebody popping their head out of the sand looking for money and better conditions and this and that, and the economy's bad, but they want more money. And it's like whack-a-mole. You knock one down and settle one, then somebody else pops up. It's crazy. So the Ambulance Services Collective Bargaining Act of 2021 considers paramedics an essential service. So they cannot fully walk off the job, but they can refuse OT and can participate in work to rule campaigns. Now, CUPE, they're a member of the CUPE Local 911. The president, David Barnett, I think that's the Canadian Union of Public Employees. If I don't have it right, please correct me. I think that's what CUPE stands for. That his membership is fed up, and that 57% of his membership are considering leaving Niagara EMS for communities like Peel Region that have adopted pay equity for their paramedics. Another 34% are considering leaving the profession entirely. And we heard that yesterday too. I said that yesterday. They wanted to be firefighters or police or go to some other place where they get more money for doing the same job, basically. Now, Michael Gabrielli, and I think this Michael is a cousin of mine, believe it or not. I think he says he's the vice president of the local. He says they're not just fighting for their wages, they're fighting for the safety and better care for Niagara residents. It's about getting more staff and trucks so they can meet their targets. Monday was the last scheduled day for, Monday, not money. Monday was the last scheduled day for bargaining, but the negotiations will go on for months, he says. As far as the risk to the public goes, if they go on strike, Gabrielli says that there's a risk to the public right now when they're not on strike because of people wanting to leave and anticipated summer shortages of employees. To me, I could see this was something that was going to happen. I mean, when you look at the fire department, and we talk about Doge, and I'd love to do a Doge on the fire department here. I always talk about that, but the fire department, for some reason, is sacrosanct. Nobody can touch it, but we need it because there's way too many firefighters and not enough paramedics. Actual fire calls can make up less than 1% of all calls that they get. Most of them are for medical emergencies. And fire respond only because there's not enough paramedics. So they're paramedics that are built into the fire department go and do treatment until the ambulance can get there, the paramedics can get there. But really, what we need is more paramedics and less firefighters. So, like I say, a full Doge review is needed at the fire department to see exactly what our needs are. Now, I'm not saying that they're overstaffed with firemen. I'm not saying they're understaffed with paramedics. I'm saying that I don't know. But there's definitely an imbalance when you have 4,000 or 5,000 fire calls in a year, calls to the 911 dispatch, and 99% of them are for medical emergencies, and the rest are for, 20 or 30 are for fires. This definitely needs to be looked at. It's a $30 million a year budget hit for the city, a huge part of our budget. and that never seems to go down. It's always going up, and it should be taken a look at. But hey, until we get a council that says, let's take a look at it, I know Jason Burgess, our CAO, the Penguin, he would love to get his hands on that department and take a close look at it, but he can't even get them to move dispatch, never mind do a full audit and figure out what we need. And don't think Niagara Falls is the only one suffering from this. This goes right across the province. Every city is facing this problem that we're facing with the fire department right now. And the paramedics are saying, hey, we go out on most of these calls. We want equity. We want equity. We do not want to be classified as municipal employees. We want to be classified as emergency services, which is what they are. And I can't blame them for looking for more, considering they're paid 20% less than firefighters. And, you're looking at, firefighter making 120 grand a year. The paramedics are making 80. Yeah, they want more money. Okay, moving on. Another story about Jody Burdett. This council, they hate Jody Burdett. They have Burdett derangement syndrome. They all do, except for Lori Lococo. She seems to be the only one. But another story about Jody Burdett and an IC Integrity Commission complaint that was denied. And I think this integrity commissioner should be investigated, if you want my opinion on it. I think the ombudsman should contact this guy and say, what's going on over there? Like, Mamma Mia. The complaint was that Jody was not allowed to delegate at the meetings about the operating budget and filed a complaint to the IC about that. The commissioner, Michael Maynard, well, I think he's prejudiced. He has a prejudice or a bias or some kind of a H on for Burdett. So the complaint was dismissed because he deemed it as having no grounds or insufficient grounds for investigation and that he lacked jurisdiction to consider the matter. Of course, Jody wanted to delegate at the budget meeting. They wouldn't let him. They said no. And of course, Fritz von Cario, the Kaiser of Council, decided that Burdett's complaints were frivolous and vexatious. Yeah, the Integrity Commission, who was supposed to be neutral and not give his opinion on any complaint, what he's supposed to do is rule on it, either uphold it or dismiss it. That's all we want to hear from him. I don't want his adjectives for Jody being vexatious or frivolous, his complaints. But that's what we get from him. And who repeats it like a parrot? Fritz von Cario. And that was one of the complaints. And of course, they said, well, no, Fritz von Cario didn't get it. I say that. He was just repeating what I said. And he didn't want to entertain Burnett talking at council. And he thought that nobody, including taxpayers, wanted to hear what he had to say. But I wanted to hear what he had to say. He wrote a 95-page summary of the operations budget, where they could save money, and saying that the operations budget and the rise was okay. I mean, Cario would have been done well to read it. I know he hates Burdett. He just hates him. That's why, or something like that. He's got some kind of a something for him because he won't even let him talk. And he says he don't want to listen to him, and neither do the taxpayers. Well, you don't talk for me. I mean, the taxpayers said they didn't want you on council. They threw you off. You listen to the taxpayers then, right? So, hey, Cario should have read it. Burnett is tuned into the city, and he knows what the city needs probably more than Councillor Cario. If Cario wouldn't have been such a capatosta, he would have seen Burnett validated the increase in the tax bill. That's what he said. He said, yeah, that increase is not outrageous. We do have to do this. We do have to do that. And he kind of validated it rather than, knocking it down. So Cario should have listened to it. And he explained why. He wasn't taking counsel to task. Regardless, another valid case dismissed, like the one against council. And the one against Councillor Strange when he tried to pack the chamber to keep the woman in Ontario say no from attending the meeting. I mean, these are all just they're all just underhanded, and they're a push at democracy and everything else. They're upheld, but at the end of the day, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be dismissed. They should be upheld. Councillor Carrio did try to do that. He sent a letter out doing that. All the proof was there. How they could say no is beyond me, but hey, that's why I'm saying this commissioner, maybe he's got to go. He's got to go. And just to put everything in perspective, we're going to talk about what it actually costs taxpayers in a minute, because council has not only upped the fee to $1,000 to file a complaint, thereby eliminating a lot of people. Because if you don't have 1,000, you can't take council to task, and that's not right. It shouldn't be taking them to task. Should not be about money. And they say, oh, it's to keep frivolous complaints. No, it isn't. It's to keep control. They do not want people questioning them. I mean, if they could vote it to make it 10,000 if they wanted. And if a bunch of complaints are filed at 1,000, they'll make it 2,000. They went from 250 to 500 to 1,000 now. So you can see what their game is. And don't mind me, my eyes, I got something in my eye, maybe my finger. But you can see what's going on. A travesty on behalf of our council that would rather run a dictatorship than a democracy. They have now said they won't allow anonymous complaints. Why not? Complaint's a complaint. Why wouldn't they allow anonymous complaints? And I know. If somebody doesn't have the balls to put their name on the complaint, they shouldn't be able to file it. But with this vexatious and retaliatory council, the attitude of this council, like they've tried to push Jody Burdett around not to file complaints. People may fear putting their name on a complaint. They may feel there's going to be some repercussions, reprisals. So yeah, I can understand why maybe they don't want to put their name on it. With this council especially. That right there tells you what kind of council we have. You have to remember two things here. These councilors who are crying about the cost to the taxpayers, crocodile tears. They'll blow 25,000 on a concrete ping pong table, 50,000, 40,000 on a pollinating meadow, 17 million on a walking trail nobody wants. But yeah, they'll blow that money, and then they cry about $79,000. And if you want to know what that means to your tax bill, because they always say the taxpayers, they're always worried about the taxpayers. You know what it means on your tax bill every year? Let me tell you. And I didn't make this up. This is by Tiffany Clark's numbers that she uses all the time. That's right. The squirrel brings down these numbers. It represents probably $1 a year, maybe 50 cents a year. That's it. A year, not a month, not a week, not a day, $1 a year. So them crying about you having to spend 9 cents a month to uphold the democratic process of filing integrity commissioner complaints, don't listen to them. It's gaslighting at its worst. It's gaslighting at its worst. And Mike Strange even had the the nerve to get up there and tell us that these integrity commissioner complaints are going to bankrupt the city. Oh my God. $79,000 is going to bankrupt the city. I'll tell you, if it does, we don't deserve a city. We're in bad shape. And if we're in bad shape, who's to blame? What is that address up there? 4300 Queen Street or something? Mike Strange. $79,000 is going to bankrupt the city. He's so out of it. How can this guy be on city council if he truly believes that? If he doesn't believe it, then it's gaslighting. So either way, he shouldn't be on council for gaslighting us, and he shouldn't be on council if he truly believes 79,000 or even 179,000 is going to bankrupt the city. Woo! We're dealing with real kooks here. Number two, and at the end of the day, we have to have the right to take our city council to task if we feel they're not upholding their end of the bargain, which is to be responsible with our taxpayer dollars and to act with integrity. And number two, that the ombudsman told council they should not be charging anything to file a complaint. Most municipalities allow complaints to be filed for $0 because they want to uphold the democratic process. I mean, that's what we live in, right? Or do we? I don't know. You see Kaiser Fritz von Curio and Kaiserine Heidi von Neuesteg up there trying to take away democracy. Please remember, now you have to remember this. There are people on council who are okay. Councillor Patel, that's right, Mona Patel, and Councillor Lori Lococo, voted against raising the fee to file a complaint. So there you go. There are people who want to uphold our democratic process. Councillors Patel and Lococo voted against upping the fee to $1,000. Although Councillor Lococo said she agrees with anonymous complaints, I don't agree with that. I think a lot of people are afraid of these guys or something, and they don't want to file complaints with their name on it. And you laugh at that, right? Come on, what are we running here? I think they're going to come after them or something. Hey, they are afraid. There are people afraid. I've had people afraid to come on this show and talk about stuff because they don't know what City Hall is going to do. These guys at City Hall are going to do. So it's a real thing. Believe me, it's a real thing. Anyway, Kaiserina, that's what it is. You call them a Kaiserina. Only 8, you're a Kaiserina. No, not a Kaiserina. That's a ballerina. Kaiserin. Kaiserin. Sarin. That's a getting out of hand. Council's gaslighting the public. Getting out of hand here. Getting out of hand. Time to defend democracy. Time to defend the truth. And time to say, hey, if we want to take this council to task, we have the right to do it. Okay, let's move on. You know, I just read a story about this new battery separator. They're making these separators for EVs, for batteries. In Port Colborne, they're opening this big plant, Kazi or something. And I just read a story today because I was thinking, like, now that the EV craze is gone, they're closing down plants all over the place. Basically, Stellantis, Volkswagen, Ford, GM, they've all moved away from EVs because they're just not selling. There's no market. The climate change people bought their EVs, their electric vehicles, and now they're good for 10 years. So the market took a big plunge. They quit making them. The only thing they're making is hybrids, and that's about it. So I'm wondering how this separator plant in Port Colborne, how's it going to fly? Well, they're delaying the startup of that plant from 2027 to 2028. And, you know, we saw that plant, the Stellantis plant, I think in Windsor, close it down for 2 months, and now they're not opening it again. The EV plant there they made for batteries. So you got to wonder what's going to happen with this plant, especially as Carney has allowed Chinese EVs into the country. Now, Chinese EVs will not use the product they're making in Port Colborne. Well, they're not making yet. They're going to make because they come over with their separators. They make them there for cheaper. So he's allowing 50,000 Chinese EVs into the market, and I think they're going to sell pretty fast. They're really nice. What's going to happen to this plant? I mean, if Carnage let the Chinese in, they're going to dominate the EV market with their Timu cars that do 100 times the things that the cars here do for half the price. It's going to be an interesting um, year when they start bringing those in. Now, that's Ashai over in Port Colborne. I don't think it's good for them. Ashai Cassie is continuing with the build, and the main building should be finished in 6 months, at which time they can start inside construction. Stay tuned to this one. 2028 may be their goal, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed back farther, especially when in the United States Trump is dropping the EV mandates. Then Biden wanted to have all cars running on electricity by 2025 or something, get rid of the rest. So that's all been dropped now. Trump is saying you buy the car you want, run by the fuel you want it to run on. So that's all out. And Canada's push for EVs is way behind schedule. They're not going to meet any of their climate change goals for this year, for 2035, 2035, and for 2050. So they could not achieve the goal. So even their goals have been moved. And remember, they wanted no gasoline cars sold in Canada, carnage, by 2035. Yep, that's right. No gasoline cars by 2035. All new cars that are sold in Canada have to be EVs. So that's out the window now. So we'll see what's going to happen with that plan. I just hope that it doesn't turn into a giant sized white elephant. That's all. I don't know how much Port Colborne has poured into it, the provincial government or the federal government. I don't know how much they've poured into it, but I certainly hope that at the end of the day it does open and it employs the people they said it was going to employ and everything else, because that would be a bummer if it didn't. Okay, over to my second sponsor. Then we're going to get into Justin Trudeau, who we know is a goofball, but we'll talk a little bit about him. First, I want to talk about Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and I'm going to tell you, these guys know how to make a pizza. Mancini family recipe for sauce and crust. Fresh Saputo mozzarella mixed with brick. Put on the sauce on that crust in the right ratios. Cooked to perfection. Hey, even a plain pizza is fantastic. Now you start adding fresh toppings, you got yourself a winner. Not only do they make a great pizza, they know how to build a pizza, these guys. They have great wings, poutine, steak and cheese poutine, panzerotti, chicken parm sandwiches. Unbelievable, the food they put out of that place on Victoria Avenue. And you know what? One is not good enough. They have a second location, Thorlestone Road in Kaler, just opened last December, and they're pushing out a fantastic product equal to or greater than the one on Victoria Avenue. These guys really do know consistency in how to build a pizza. How do you get one of these beautiful pizzas? A 905-374-2222. Go to their website, petespizzavictoria.ca, or you can use Dine, Skip, and Dash, and Jump, and Hop, whatever the heck the services are. They use them all. Yeah, you know you want a pizza. Tuesday night is pizza night. Habs play tonight. Get a pizza. Watch the game. Hey, how could you have a better night than that? Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue and at Thorlestone and Kaler. Get your pizza today and support our sponsors and our small businesses. They do a lot for the community. They're involved and they deserve our support, as do all small businesses in Niagara Falls. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, what's going on with Justin Trudeau? Well, he's going out with the reptilian kook, Katy Perry. And, there's some rumors that she's pregnant. Wow, that's scary right there. I never knew she was transgender. Is she? I don't know. But anyway, seized footage from the P. Diddy parties. Remember P. Diddy, who's in jail right now for what he did, shows Justin Trudeau in scenes that will rock the political establishment in Canada. Uh-oh. We know this Trudeau has been involved in scandal after scandal while he was Prime Minister of Canada. But this here could be the big one that lands him in a lot of hot water. It said that Trudeau, who is known already to have settled a huge lawsuit for playing with a minor, is set to be the next high-profile figure to be outed, and there's no covering this one up if it's indeed true. The system of global pedophilia is being uncovered, and the global elite are being exposed. Stay tuned to this one. This is a preliminary report I read. We'll see what comes down, but this could be serious. And we've seen Prince Andrew, and then we saw the King of Norway, and then we saw the secretary or the president of WEF, the World Economic Fund, all get in big trouble. And one of them landed in the hospital trying to commit suicide over the Epstein files. So, hey, you never know what's going to come out of this one. This could be big. We'll see what do they call him? Trudeau, the Le Petit something, Le Petit goofball. I don't know, whatever they called him, Le Petit Patat. Either way, he could be having a little rough time here in a little while. So keep your eyes out for that one. I thought it was pretty funny. After all he's done, he's going to get hooked into this P. Diddy thing of all things, right? Check this one out. The Iranian women's national football team took a trip to Australia to play. And remember, football over there is soccer, right? And the Iranians have said when they come home, they'll be facing the death penalty because they refused to sing the Iranian national anthem during the AFC Women's Asian Cup Series in Australia. A clear act of defiance. They have been labeled wartime traitors and will most likely be killed if they go home to Iran. Now, Australia won't allow them to stay in Australia. They won't give them asylum. So what does President Trump do? Well, tells the Australian PM to grant asylum, and if they won't, the U.S. will take them in. He does not want to see them harmed or injured. Trump will offer them sanctuary for risking their life to defy Iran and stand for freedom. Pretty cool of Trump to step in and take charge like he usually does, like he's been doing. And we'll see if the Aussies offer them sanctuary, because if they don't, the U.S. will. Way to go, President Trump. But I can understand the Aussies not wanting to do that. Really, there's 85,830 Iranians living in Australia. And they could cause a lot of trouble if they don't agree with Australia taking them in, if they decide that these women are traitors. And a lot of them are fundamentalists, and there's sleeper cells all over the place. So Australia's probably going, oh, brother, we really don't want to upset 85,000 people who may not think that Australia's right taking them in. So I can see why they're being a little bit cautious. It could be a huge problem, and they don't need that. Although they deserve it because they let these people in. Now the U.S. has 500,000 to 1 million. Nobody's exactly sure. It might be 2 or 3 million. So how many there are in the U.S., it doesn't matter, though, because if they haven't been triggered by the states bombing the hell out of Iran, they won't get triggered by the women's football club. So Australia, I can understand they're a bit skeptical, but they should take them in. If they don't, send them to the U.S., they'll take them. Now, last night, I heard there was a ceasefire that was being considered in Iran. And it all seemed like this whole war could come to an end, considering Iran is really getting their asses handed to them after 11 days. I mean, they really don't have a lot. Their Air Force is done. Their missiles are done. Their ships are all sunk. There's, I don't know, 32 or 58. I don't know. They're all sunk, even torpedoed in the Indian Ocean. They really don't have a lot left. But the foreign minister said, no, we're not going to go towards a ceasefire. We're going to continue fighting for the sake of our people. I mean, really? Are you kidding me? For the sake of their people? They're lucky that Trump and the American military is only hitting strategic military targets. They're not targeting anything else, and not like Iran, who's just firing missiles into every country in the Middle East and hitting apartment buildings, killing people. They're not being um, they're not being smart about who and what they attack. They're just firing them off, and it has nothing to do with military targets. It has to do with just getting causing mayhem and terrorism, basically. And now they've got the whole Middle East against them because everybody's had enough. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Empire, Emirates, everybody, Dubai, Kuwait, you name it. Turkey, they hit one in Turkey, and Turkey's a member of NATO now. NATO, I mean, it never ends. So they're not being very smart about what they're doing. So, for the sake of our people, no, it's not for the sake of your people. And then he points, like the Democrats in the United States, all these left wing loonies are pointing to the killing of the women students, the girl students um, in Iran. And they're blaming Trump for killing the girl students and blah, 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 Tomahawk missile. And Trump says, wait a minute, Abdul, relax. We don't even know if it's from us, that missile, if it's one of ours. And everybody's going, it's a Tomahawk, it's a Tomahawk. He says, hey, a lot of countries bought Tomahawk missiles off us. Doesn't mean it came from us, that missile, right? So they started investigating this. And they're looking for facts that bring out the truth. And although all these left wing loonies are saying it was an American Tomahawk cruise missile, the facts don't back that up at all. Number one, it came from overland. It came overland. There's no Tomahawks being fired over land. They're all coming from the ocean, from the sea, from the Gulf of Oman, or wherever the heck they are, Mediterranean, the ships at sea. That's where the Tomahawks are coming from. They're not coming from land. And it came across the land. So it was shut off on land. So that's not where they're shooting them from. Number two, the wing placement of the missile was off. It does not fit with the Tomahawk, but does fit with Iran's own KH-55 land attack cruise missile, a Soviet design they copied and then modified. And the attack angle of the missile, the munition that hit dove at a 70-degree angle, and that would be the absolute maximum for a Tomahawk. But in order to get a 70-degree angle down into the building, it would have to come from a long way away because it would have to go up, across, and in. And that's not how Tomahawk missiles work. They use a 20 to 45-degree angle, more like this, because they come low and fast over the ground. They only travel 100 feet off the ground. They're all programmed for terrain, and they come in and basically almost straight on. They don't have that much of an angle coming down. And there's one reason for that, because the higher up they get, the more they can be detected by radar, and the more likely it is they'll be shot out of the sky. So they come down fast and low at a very, very low angle. They don't come like this, they come like this. So that's another reason that they're saying it's probably not a Tomahawk. So there's three reasons why they think. So the conclusion is this wasn't a Tomahawk, but probably a KH-55 that was jammed by electronics, and its systems went awry, and it was out of control. Went into the building where the girls were. It was one of their own that got the girls. Had nothing to do with Trump. Had nothing to do with the U.S. military or Israel. Classic propaganda from not only the Iranians, but from the left. And it was all soaked up by the left wing media and the big mouth Democrats who lie about anything when it comes to Trump. They back the Iranians at every step, go figure. That's the way it works. So there you go. Everybody was yelling and screaming about this. Guess what? It will be proven that it was most likely an Iranian missile that went awry because they jammed it. They jammed the electronics. And the United States is good at doing that. They got things going on over there we don't even know about. Sticking with Iran, how about this new declared supreme leader who hasn't been seen for 2 weeks now? and was thought to be killed when his father was killed. Mojtaba Khomeini, 56-year-old son of Ayatollah Al Khomeini. He was elected the new supreme leader, and he was supposed to address the Iranian inner circle, and he never showed up. Now, questions are being asked, is this guy even alive? Is he alive? They don't know. Did the Iranians name him because nobody else wanted to be named, so they chose the dead guy? And some other guy's running the show behind the scenes? The real new supreme leader, who is it? Do they want to keep it secret? Because you know what? If they don't keep it secret, guess what's going to happen to the guy? That's right. He's going to be buying a coffin in a few days. So we don't know what's really going on. But one thing is clear: he's on the hit list along with his father's bodyguard. Yeah, the guy who was supposed to be guarding his father survived the blast that killed his father, and now is his bodyguard. Oh boy, I wouldn't have much faith in that guy. Look what he did to my father. Now, other reports say that this Mojtaba Khomeini say that he lost a leg in the attack and had other severe injuries in the attack that killed his father. So he could not even know that he was elected the supreme leader. He's in a hospital somewhere, maybe, and he don't even know he was elected the supreme leader if he is alive. So, I mean, right now, they're on their third set of leaders. Trump killed the first two. The country is in shambles. The leadership is in shambles. Nobody knows what's going on with it. So this country is just wacky. They're out of control. And you know, the thing is, think about if they had a nuke. If they had a nuke, what do you think they'd be doing now? I don't know. They're pretty desperate right now. They're just about wiped off the face of the earth. So we'll see what happens with that. But they're wacky. What's really going on, we don't know. But thank goodness they did the Midnight Hammer run last summer and stifled their nuclear capabilities. And now we're here, and it's going to be ended. Trump is in it to win it. He's not backing down like all these other guys did before him. He's in it to win it. They're going to finish the job. Pete Hegseth was on. Secretary of War was on, and he just said the exact same thing. Okay, let's jump over to Cuba. Cuba, where Trump says the communist-run island nation is at the end of the line. No money, no oil, collapsing economy. Things are worse off than they ever have been on the island. He's assigned Marco Rubio to lead high-level talks with the leaders to effect regime change. Trump put forward a major package that includes a chance for the Castro family and current President Miguel Diaz-Canel to step down and not have to leave the island. He doesn't have to face exile or prosecution. Be allowed to stay on the island as the island shifts towards democracy and freedom. The deal would likely erase restrictions on travel for Americans, restrictions on travel for tourism, restriction on ports, restriction on energy. So the United States would help them rebuild Cuba and give them the much needed cash while demanding democratic reforms in return for their help. So, I mean, I can't be happier about this. A free Cuba is closer than ever. Something that would benefit the people who have been controlled by the communist dictators for almost 70 years now. They've got a path out of communist rule and oppression if the leaders can surrender control. And if they refuse, the pressure intensifies until the people throw them out. I mean, the people will go after them. And it won't be pleasant for the Castros that are remaining and Canel, the president of the country. So it's looking really good. Excuse me. I get in the studio. I keep telling you, I'm not joking. Keep getting in the studio. I get stuffed up. It's dry in here. And I know people think I'm wacky, but come and sit in here for an hour and do a show. And now we got Cuba pretty well settled. And now we got the little rocket man chirping in. He's chiming in. He's chirping over there in North Korea. Kim Jong Un issued a warning about his country's nuclear potential, saying the nuclear button is always on my desk, that all U.S. territories are within range of a potential strike. Another one Trump's going to have to straighten out. He claims that North Korea could hit locations across the Americas without prior warning, and that enemies would feel endless terror. There would be 20 minutes of prior warning. Don't worry about that. It's not going to get through any of the Skynet that Trump's got set up. Believe me, he's got a Space Force watching everything. If you think those ballistic missiles are coming out of Iran, going up, lighting up the sky, and heading towards where they're going without the satellites and Space Force seeing where they came from, and about 5 minutes later, a cruise missile hitting that battery, yeah, you're mistaken. They see everything. So on Jung-un, KJU, or whatever you're called, just go ahead and see what happens. First of all, they're going to blast it out of the sky. It's never going to reach America. And second of all, you're going to be having something come into your country that might just turn it into a big parking lot. I mean, he's brash. He's got balls to say this, but at the end of the day, he's got supreme control with a lot of money and a lot of stuff that his people don't have. And he's not willing to lose that and go to jail for the rest of his life. He talks a lot, but he won't do anything. He knows what it would look like if he ever did. And he'll be the first one to go. As a matter of fact, it's only a matter of time before they find somebody in North Korea who will go in there and be friends with the United States, take over that country, get rid of him and his family, and all of a sudden it'll be under democracy again, like South Korea. So it's only a matter of time. They just have to find the right people to take over. I mean, they could wipe him out in a second. Let's face it. But then you got the next guy coming up who could be worse. At least you know what you got with Kim Jong Un. The next guy might be even worse. So better to leave him there and keep him under control until they can really get rid of him, and be sure that the next guy coming up is friendly to the United States and will help the states. Okay. Interesting numbers coming out of the 2020 scamdemic regarding the injuries and deaths attributed to the fake vaccine. Now, of course, this was a big deal. You all remember COVID. Just a ridiculous, ridiculous point in time. I know that 50 years from now, people are going to look back at this scamdemic and what the government did to us and everything. And you know what? They're going to look back and say, people actually believed arrows on grocery store floors is going to save them from getting sick. They're going to actually believe that. Yeah, I know. They're going to say this had to be the dumbest generation ever to buy into this hoax. I mean, come on. Come on. People are going to look and say, you're allowed to walk to a table with a mask on in a restaurant, but once you sit down, you can take the mask off. They're going to look at that and say, were these people stupid? Then they're going to look and say, the people who were vaccinated wouldn't let the unvaccinated people in to the restaurant because they were scared of getting COVID, even though they'd been vaccinated. And then they were blaming the unvaccinated for everything. But they were vaccinated. The unvaccinated weren't a threat to anybody. I'm going to tell you, they're going to look back and say stupid. Well, here's the numbers. 7 to 15 million dead so far. 29 to 60 million permanently disabled. This is worldwide. And 500 million to 900 million injured from the vaccine. And the numbers are still coming in and they're growing by the day. Are the numbers valid? Well, they say they are, and I believe it. I believe it. This vaccine has been shown to cause cancers, cerebral cancer. The MRA is in the blood. It's caused myocarditis. All this has been proven now. And it's been proven that the vaccine did actually absolutely nothing. It was an experimental vaccine. It was totally useless. And all these people got injected. And I've seen a lot of people I know die. And, nobody's going to come out and say it's because of the vaccine. But for all the people who got all these injections, it's probably the reason. And the numbers are still coming in. And believe it or not, there are still people who are going out and getting vaccinated. Yeah, they're still getting these vaccines, if you can believe it or not. I mean, these mRNA vaccines. I mean, it's insane, but there's still people who want more. There's people who have 8 or 9 of these. They get their booster shots. After all the proof it doesn't work, and after all the death, and that you can get COVID even if you've had the shot, just ridiculous. I mean, what was it? The flu. It's the bad flu. Oh yeah, people died. Well, you know what? Look at who died. Look at who died. It was mostly old people who were probably on their way out anyway. A bad flu could have killed them. Didn't necessarily have to be COVID. And they'll say, "Oh, these people they got." More people probably died from somebody jamming a tube down their throat, a respirator, and laying them on their stomach, which is the worst thing you can do. Than from that, than actually the COVID. Oh, terrible, terrible. And it's going to continue on. But those are the numbers coming out right now. It's not pretty. And I didn't get vaccinated. I don't have any of that crap in my veins. So, and I'm reading online, and there's actually a group on Facebook of people, women that are unvaccinated, that will not date vaccinated men. They will not date vaccinated men. They want nothing to do with the DNA, the mRNA that's been tainted by these injections. Yeah, so guess what? Unvaccinated people, you're desirable. People are looking for you. Okay, so that's about it for me today. I'm done. I'm done. Tomorrow's show, absolutely coming to you live. We're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Back to absolutely on Wednesdays. And we got a game tonight I'm going to be watching. Should be good. We'll see what happens. It's been a crazy week for the Habs with the games out west. Now they're coming back home. And we're getting down to it. And it's a tight race in their division, the Atlantic Division. So it's going to be fun to watch from here until the end of the season. I think they have probably 20 games left. On Friday, big show on Friday. Al McKay from the Property Taxpayers Alliance is coming in, and there's a regional council meeting tomorrow night. No, Thursday night. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about amalgamation. We'll be talking about decisions by these little cities like Niagara Lake and who don't want to be involved in any amalgamation, ins and outs, ups and downs, what do they call them? Pros and cons. We'll be doing it all on Friday. Al is really good. He's very well informed, and he's always a pleasure to have on the show talking about what's going on in the region, especially amalgamation as we roll towards May 1st, which is the nomination for city council and regional council opening day. That's when you can file your nomination papers for anyone that's looking to run for a seat on council or regional council. And with this amalgamation coming down the pipe, I think we're going to have to see something before May 1st so people can decide who's running and how many are running and what they're going to do. Now, it is possible that the Ford government could say we are delaying the nomination date till July 1st or something like that to give more time to decide on exactly the way they're going to run the region and the city. As far as the number of council seats going, that Niagara Lake is already talking about reducing the number of council seats, being proactive and showing Ford that they're serious about saving taxpayer dollars and contraction and that kind of thing. So we'll see what comes down. We'll see what comes down in the next couple months before we get to nomination day opening of May 1st. So it's going to be an interesting couple months here. We'll be talking a lot about it. Plus, we'll be talking about the election in Niagara Falls and what's going on with that. So stay tuned. It's going to be good. I thank you for tuning in today. It's been a crazy show. There's crazy stuff going on in the world right now. I got a feeling it's all going to be settled and quickly. There's a lot of good stuff coming down, even though there's a lot of stuff out there. Good stuff for the Cuban people, good stuff for the Iranian people. President Trump had a great talk with Putin a few days ago. There could be something coming down that helps to settle that. So a lot of good stuff coming down. It just takes a lot of questionable stuff before you get good stuff. You got to get wrecked before you can get better, right? That's the way it goes. It's like the flu. You feel the crappiest, and then all of a sudden it all goes away and it gets better. So that's what we're seeing now, whether it's with oil prices or anything else. Anyway, my name is Paul Calamere. This is your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, across from the Meteor Crater, which we should see some action in the next few weeks, according to the developer and what he told me at the planning meeting. And we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. If you're looking to advertise your business, hey, give me a call. Let's get together. Let's figure something out. This is a great place to advertise your business, and it doesn't cost very much to do it. That's right. It doesn't cost a lot. And I will talk about your business every day. You will be on 4680q.com live. You will be on YouTube, Rumble, and X. It's worth the money that you're going to spend to have me market your business on this show. Take care, everybody. God bless you all. We will see you tomorrow. I'm out of here. Have a great day. It's a beautiful day out there.